Hey everybody, it's Jason with Parallel Reality coming back with you today. It's actually an old article. It's from July 15th, which you'll recognize as 2 days after the first assassination attempt on President Trump. And I'm recording this on the Monday after the second one because I came across this article that the author here, Timothy P. Carney, had put on Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it today. And I didn't realize until a few minutes ago this was actually from back then, but I'm sure a lot of what I'm about to go over, because I haven't read this article yet, is still relevant today, given the second assassination attempt. So the article is from the Washington Examiner, and it is entitled, "Will the Left Drop Their Awful Stochastic Terrorism Talk Now?" I'm just going to go ahead and answer that with no. It should just be signed no, and then just the end of the article, like that's it. But let's go ahead and get into it. It says, President Joe Biden is not responsible for the assassination attempt on former President Donald Trump. Neither could one fairly pin blame on the New Republic, nor any of the liberals who have spent 8 years, and particularly the last few months, demonizing Trump. And here's you can go ahead and click on the article below and click on this if you have X to actually see the full posting. I'm not going to do that, but this was recently that they did something like this. Okay, so yeah, this is the kind of stuff that leads to, assassination attempts on somebody, because if you're calling someone Hitler and the guy really is Hitler, isn't it your duty to go ahead and be rid of that person, if you will? Let's keep going with the article. It says, but these demonizers of Trump, who cry that Trump would be a dictator who would spell the end of democracy, would count as terrorists if the left applied its authoritarian rules to itself. Of course it would. So stochastic terrorism, which I don't even know what that means. The left just came up with that term one day, and it was like, what does that even mean, guys? So it says that is the key phrase here. It's an idea that it is equal parts stupid and evil, but it sounds kind of academic, and it justifies censoring conservatives, so the idea became popular among liberals in the past year or so. Yeah, I think the first person I heard use that was AOC, and then just kind of everybody started using it, and it was like, what does that mean, guys? Terrorism is just terrorism. I don't think it really needs a modifier. It's like saying something is very unique. It's like, no, it's just unique, okay? So, but whatever. It says, after the 2016 election, liberals branded speech they disliked as misinformation, which was an effort to strip it of free speech protections. Right, that's just what they do. If we don't like it, it's misinformation, even if it could be true. Misinformation is supposedly dangerous and intentionally deceptive speech, but in practice, facts and opinions that were unpleasant for Democrats are labeled misinformation and censored by big tech and big media. The misinformation craze has flamed out a bit over the past couple of years, thank God, as it's been exposed as an embarrassing farce. Stochastic terrorism is the new wonky-sounding term used to censor conservative opinions and facts liberals dislike. The whole shtick goes like this. 1. Conservatives say things that demonize individuals or groups that liberals like. 2. The bad speech isn't incitement to violence by any normal understanding of the word, but it sort of sends out bad vibes. 3. Someone commits an act of violence against a targeted group or individual. There is zero evidence to tie that act of violence to the bad speech by conservatives, and so the liberals blame the vibes created by conservatives. 4. To make it not sound like vibes talk, the liberals trot out experts, and that's in scare quotes. I know some of the other words were in scare quotes, but it's probably worth mentioning here. The experts, it's just kind of like meant sarcastically, who use big words and concepts that sound like math. They say that bad speech increases the odds of some random act of violence against the people they like. So it's crucial to understand 3 things here. A, this allows them to blame conservatives for violence with zero evidence of any connection. B, the point of this argument is to brand all conservative speech as incitement and thus not protected by the First Amendment. And C, this argument is only used against conservatives. In fact, when conservatives use it against liberals, the experts decry that as some sort of evil tactic. Yeah, and you see that now with basically what just happened with the assassination attempt yesterday, but let's keep going. It says, liberal journalist David Corn called Trump a stochastic terrorist because Trump demonizes his political foes, making them likely targets of political violence. Yes, as if that doesn't happen from a liberal to a conservative. Okay. It says, does calling Trump a terrorist count as demonizing him? Is it demonizing to say he'll be a dictator and that his election would end democracy? We accept the fact it would have been okay to kill Hitler before he rose to power, and then we say that Trump is literally Hitler. Yeah, that's what I was saying at the very beginning. It says that's not direct incitement, but it seems to meet the official expert definition of stochastic terrorism. It says to see how far the bar is for demonizing, to see how low the bar is for demonizing speech, Consider the New York Times editorial on stochastic terrorism. This is one example. Oh yeah, I understand how he's using the New York Times probably ironically, but gee, yeah, they're a reliable source. I might as well go get the National Enquirer as a source as well. So this is Marco Rubio, a Republican senator from Florida, released a TV ad recently in which he said, "The radical left will destroy America if we don't stop them. They indoctrinate children and try to turn boys into girls," which is actually a statement of fact. So it says, "This is a normal, if impolitely phrased, opinion. Calling this stochastic terrorism is an attempt to brand off limits to any criticism of gender ideology. The average Democrat says worse stuff about Trump every day. Yeah, just go listen to MSNBC for if you can stand it, for any hour. Okay, if you don't have brain cancer by the end, then you did well. So good job." So the average news reporter says parallel things about conservative Catholics. Today, in the shadow of this assassination attempt on Trump, and again, remember, this is from the first attempt, so it doesn't mean yesterday, it says the commentariat is pointing out, correctly, how most political violence is random and the result of individuals' mental illness rather than ideology. Hopefully this means that the left is done calling us terrorists for expressing opinions they dislike. And we're going to go ahead and say no, they're not, because they are still doing it. So yeah, I'm going to pause this old man here because who cares? But yeah, I'm glad I found this article, but it's very relevant still today, even though this is from 2 months ago. And yeah, I mean, this is pretty much spot on for everything I was thinking anyway. So what do you guys think about this out there? Do you think the left will eventually drop this, or do you think they're just going to keep talking the same way until something actually happens to Trump? Hopefully, God forbid, it actually does. But let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.